Hello, everybody. Welcome. Miss Settlemeyer here with your instructions for your summer reading challenge. Every day this summer, we challenge you first graders to read one story per day. Now, we went through and counted every day that you're going to have in the summer, and we subtracted a few for weekends and holidays. So it's not one book for every single day. The reading log that you are going to be using for this summer looks like this. Please read one book a day. You can read the same book more than once. When you are finished reading for 30 minutes, write the title of the book you read, the date you read it, and get a parent's signature. Once you have finished reading 50 times, fill out your address, take a picture, and send it to your teacher for a special prize. Now, we had discussed a few ideas for prizes today. That we'll continue to have that discussion as the award time gets near. But I'm going to model for you today what it should look like when you are reading a story. Now, you all have these shared stories you can pick to read from, or you can choose a book of your own. As first graders, we're still working on fluency, which means speak or reading at the right speed while also having a smooth storyteller voice with emotion and expression and feeling in our voice. I'm going to read for you Pen Pals in the USA. As I'm reading, I want you to think of me as a fellow first grade student. And as you listen, I want you to listen to see that I'm doing. And this is what we expect for you guys to do when you're reading. You're going to read your stories out loud to somebody, and after each page, you'll do a retell. I'm going to start. I will be reading today Pen Pals in the USA, shared story number 46. The USA is a big place. It is so big that it has two oceans. The East Coast is on the Atlantic Ocean. The West Coast is on the Pacific Ocean, 3,000 miles away. So what I read on this page is it teaches us that the United States is 3,000 miles across from one side to the other. On the East Coast, you have the Atlantic Ocean, and on the West Coast, you have the Pacific Ocean. Tony Rush lives on the East Coast. He lives in an apartment in Baltimore, Maryland. Tony has a Native American friend named Shayla Chips. She lives in a wooden house in Washington State. Tony and Shayla are good friends, but they have never seen each other. They are pen pals. So on this page, it introduces Tony and Shayla. Tony is from Baltimore on the East Coast, and Shayla is from Washington State on the West Coast. She's a Native American and lives in a wooden house. He lives in an apartment building, and they've never met before, but they're friends. It says they are pen pals. I wonder what that means. Let's read on to find out. Tony wrote a letter to Shayla. The letter said, "Dear Shayla, thanks for the good book you sent. I liked it a lot. Here is a book for you. It is about fish. This is how I got the book." So on this page, Tony's writing a letter to Shayla thanking her for the book that she sent him. And now he's going to send her a book. And I think he's going to tell us about how he got the book. Let's read to find out. My mom and I rode the bus to visit the Baltimore Harbor. Many shops and ships are there. Some ships are tall. They have big masts and sails. They are called clipper ships. I looked at them all. So on this page, it talks about how he and his mom went to the Baltimore Harbor, and he got to see a bunch of ships with tall masts and sails, and they're called clipper ships. Then mom took me to visit the aquarium. It has lots of neat fish. I got this book in the aquarium shop. I hope you will like it. So the book that he is sending Shayla is from the aquarium that he went to in Baltimore, and he got to see lots of cool, different, neat fish. This summer, I will see lots of fish at the beach. I am going to visit Assateague Island on the Atlantic coast. I will swim in the sea. I like to ride the waves. I will see the wild ponies. Mom says they are not too wild, but it is best just to look at them. I do not want the pony's hoof to hit me. Please write and tell me what you will do this summer. Your pal, Tony. Shayla read Tony's letter. Then she sat down to write to him. Her letter said, Dear Tony, thanks for the book. I like fish too. Dad and I fish from a boat in the Pacific Ocean. Sometimes whales pass by the boat. They are bigger than the boat. So on this page, Shayla read Tony's letter that he wrote to her all about his trip to the aquarium and getting her the book, and also seeing the wild horses and going to the island on the Atlantic coast. And Shayla was telling about how with her dad, she goes fishing and that sometimes they see giant whales bigger than the boat. A sea lion teased me one day when Dad and I were fishing. It took my hook. It took my fish. Then it popped up by the boat. It shook its flippers. It seemed to grin at us. What a joke. So on this page, she had a silly sea lion that took her fish right off of her hook and was kind of playing around with them. Sea lions can be very silly. This summer, we will take a trip down to the coast to see the biggest trees in the world, the sequoia trees. They are over 100 feet tall. So she's talking about the sequoia trees that she's going to go down and see on the West Coast. Then we will visit the Plains states. They are not like the Olympic Mountains near where I live. The plains are so flat. Mom says when you look ahead, you see something that looks close. You drive all day to get there. After she's done, so on this page, she's talking about how she's going to go to the Plains states. If you look here, you can see that there's just flat, grassy land. They're not like the mountains where she lives, and they're just flat, flat, flat. And she's going to drive through it, and it takes a long time. I have a secret to tell you. I asked my granddad what my name means. He says it means medicine person. So I am learning about the plants that help sick people get well. I want to be a doctor when I get big. Write and tell me what your name means. And tell me what you will do when you grow up. Your pal, Shayla. So on this page, she explains to her pen pal that her name means medicine person, and she wants to be a doctor when she's older. She also wants to know what her pen pal's name means. She's curious as to, what does your name mean? What do you want to be when you grow up? So they always sign it off with your pal or from, and that shows that they're writing letters back and forth. Shayla mailed her letter to Tony. He read it and sat down to write to her about what he hopes to do when he grows up. And that's the end of the story. So now that I've read this book, I'm going to go to my reading log. In the example here, it shows that you write the title. So the title of the story that I read was, probably get rid of these lines because I'm typing. You will write it on an action, like with pencil on your paper. So I read Pen Pals in the USA. And then the date. Today it is, as I write this, it is 6-16. Don't need that line. I don't need it. And then for signature, I'm going to take it over to my mom, and she would sign it with her initials. Her initials are the same as mine, KS. You're going to actually write these out. When you are done, now you can read more than one book in a day. I do not recommend that. If you're going to read multiple books a day, give yourself more paper and more pages for more spaces. The more books you read, hey, we'll negotiate price for my friends. The more books you read, maybe we can talk about different prizes. I offer my own ranges of prizes in the fall, such as tea parties and other things. So that's something to think about. But anyways, after you fill this out, we have lots of lines we're going to give you. You're going to write in your name and address for a prize. So I would write, Miss Settlemyer, I live on the street in Michigan. You would actually put your real address. Please ask your parents for help with that. And then you're going to have mom take a picture of this with her phone and send it to me on Facebook or on Remind or through Facebook Messenger. But I need to see all the pages to see that all of them are filled out. You can read the same book more than once, but if you only read one book every single day, we'll have to talk. Try to read different books. You can read more than just the 49 here. It is completely up to you. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask or reach out. All summer will be available. I hope you guys enjoy your summer and enjoy a summer full of reading. Thanks, everybody.